everyone, it's Sarah and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to show you how to make a snowman hat. Now the original pattern that we put out there was for the Colorado snowman hat, and it originally was just in adult sizes that fits about a 20 to 22 inch head. So we adjusted the pattern for 3 sizes, and of course, like this one, you don't have to make it into a Colorado hat, even though it is really fun. You can use any colors that you want to. Now the child size is a 16 to 17 inch head. This one is the youth size, and it'll fit an 18 to 20 inch head. And then the Colorado size one here, which is the adult size, will now fit a 21 to 22 inch head. One thing to keep in mind when you're making crochet hats, they're very stretchy, so you want to make sure you don't make it too big. The updated version of the written pattern is on my blog, and you can find that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. What you're going to need is some worsted weight number 4 yarns in the colors of your choosing. For today's demonstration, I'm going to be making the small size. This is of course the medium, and this one is the large. I'm going to be making the small size and then giving you notes on how to make it in the larger sizes. I'm using all Red Heart Super Saver yarns, which is a medium number 4 worsted weight yarn. I'm going to be making the hat portion in green and yellow. Of course, I need white for the snowman portion, and then I have black and orange for the features. All Red Heart Super Saver yarns. You're going to need your needle. You'll need a pair of scissors, and we're going to be using our H hook today. It's a 5.00 millimeter crochet hook. We're going to be starting at the crown of the hat, and all 3 sizes begin the same. We're going to make a slip knot. We're going to chain 5. We're going to join this in a circle, put the tail of our yarn over our hook and pull it through the loop. There we go. And then we're going to snug that down. We're going to make that little stay knot. That keeps our loop from coming undone. We'll put our hook through and chain 3. And this chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet. We're going to double crochet 9 more, so we have a total of 10. One, two, three, four, 5. Whoops, there we go. This should be 10, but we'll count just to make sure. Here's our chain 3 that counts as our first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 double crochets. We're going to join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch and chain 2. Now, in order to avoid having a hole in the top of our hat, we're going to turn this over and just gently pull on that string, and that's going to close up that hole. And we can come back in later and weave that in with our needle. All right, for row 2, this chain 2 does not count as a stitch. And what we're going to do is place 2 double crochets in each of the 10 double crochets around. So I'm putting 2 double crochets in each of the 10 double crochets. I've stitched 2 double crochets in each of the 10 double crochets around, so now I have 20 double crochets. We're going to skip this chain 2 and join to the top of that first double crochet with a slip stitch, and we're going to chain 2 again. Now what we're going to do for row 3, and again this is the same for all 3 sizes, we're going to go in that first double crochet and stitch 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Then we're going to go in the next double crochet and just stitch 1. And so the repeat for row number 3 is 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next. And we will repeat the 2 and 1 all the way around. 2 double crochets in the next double crochet, 1 double crochet in the next. And we'll repeat this all the way around, and we'll do the same thing here, is skip that chain 2 and join to our first double crochet. I've completed row 3 stitching 2 and 1, 2 and 1 all the way around, and you're going to have 30 double crochets for row 3. Again, we're going to skip those 2 chains and join right to the top of that first double crochet with a slip stitch, and again chain 2. Alright, so now we're going to do row 4, and again row 4 is the same for all 3 sizes. We're going to go right in the first double crochet and stitch 2 double crochets like we did on row 3, only for row 4 we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next 2. And this is how the repeat works for row 4. 2 double crochets in the next double crochet, there we go, it's split a little, there's the 2 together in that same stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2. 2 double crochets in the next double crochet, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2. So basically what we're doing is 2 and 2. 2 double crochets in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next 2, and we'll repeat this all the way around for row 4. I've completed my 4th row, stitching 2 double crochets in the same stitch and then 1 double crochet in the next 2 all the way around. And for row 4 you'll have 40 stitches. I joined to my first double crochet and chained 2. Now for the small size we're going to be changing colors, but for the medium and the large you're going to need to do more rows. For the medium size you'll need to do another row. The next row that you'll do will be 2 double crochets in the next stitch and then 3 double crochets individually for a whole row. And then you will change colors on the medium size. For the large size, you'll do that row of 2 double crochets together and then 3, and then you'll need to do another row of 2 double crochets together and 4 individual double crochets. Before you change colors on the medium, you're going to need to have 50 double crochets. And before you change colors on the large, you'll have 60 double crochets. And then we'll do 2 rows for our striping. And there isn't any more increases when you begin the striping rows. All right, now we're going to take the chain 2 out because we're going to be changing colors. To change colors, we're going to leave our green yarn or our top of our hat yarn the same. We're not going to cut our yarn because we're going to be doing 2 rows of the other color, and then we're going to bring our green yarn back in. So we'll grab our second color, we'll bring that in, and then we'll do our chain 2. And the reason we do our chain 2 after is because that's going to be in this row, and we don't want that little chain 2 in green to be showing through. Now, when you get to your striping rows on all the sizes, you're going to stitch 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. No more increases. So with my yellow, I'm stitching 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. I completed the first striping row, 1 double crochet in each stitch around, and again we're going to ignore that chain 2 and go right into the top of that next double crochet with a slip stitch and chain 2. And you can see why it was important not to do the chain 2 before we changed colors, because that little chain 2 in there would be green and it would not look as neat. Alright, so now we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to place 1 double crochet in each double crochet around for another row of the yellow, or whatever color you're doing the stripe in your hat. 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, working all the way around. And remember, all the sizes, small, medium, and large, have 2 rows of stripe. I've completed that second row of striping. I joined to my first double crochet, but I didn't chain 2 because I'm going to be changing colors again. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that yarn, and I'm going to bring up my green, just like that, snug that down, and then I'm going to chain 2, and then I'll begin stitching 2 more rows of just 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. And this is the same for all the sizes. Here's my 2 rows of a different color, and then 2 rows back to my main color. And the same thing on the large, 2 rows of the white for my stripe, and 2 rows of the blue back to the main color of the hat. So those rows are all the same for all the sizes. Once we finish these 2 rows, we'll have those 2 rows of striping in the green. So what we're going to do, is stitch 2 rows, stitching 1 double crochet in each stitch around, join to our double crochet, and then repeat that just like we did with the 2 yellow rows. You can see that I have completed those 2 rows of 1 double crochet in each double crochet around with the green. So I have the top of my hat, 2 rows of the stripe, and 2 rows of the green. I joined with a slip stitch to the first double crochet, but I'm going to be cutting my yarn, so I'm not going to do that chain 2 yet. I'm going to bring in my white yarn because now it's time to make our snowman. We'll do that the same. We'll just snug it down and chain 2. Now we're going to be repeating, stitching 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. And for the small size, you'll need to do 3 rows of the white. For the medium size, you'll need to do 4 rows of the white. And then for the large size, you'll need to do 5 rows of just 1 double crochet in each double crochet around, and then join to your first double crochet and chain 2. So there's my chain 2. I'll go right in my first double crochet and stitch 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. And since I'm doing the small size, I will do 3 rows. And just a reminder, for the medium size, you need to do 4, and for the large size, you need to do 5. I've completed my first 3 rows of the white, and remember, medium size you need 4, large size you need 5 rows of the white with 1 double crochet in each double crochet around. Alright, so I've already joined to the top of my first double crochet, and I'm going to chain 2. And this next row we're going to be alternating double crochets and front post double crochets, and it's the same for the medium and the large. We'll place a double crochet in the first double crochet, and then we'll stitch a front post double crochet in the next. There we go. Double crochet in the next, and if you're not sure, when you stitch a front post, we normally stitch up here, but we're going to put our hook around the post of the stitch and stitch our double crochet. So here's our next one, so we'll go in here because we're alternating. Double crochet in the next, and front post double crochet in the next. Your stitch count will be the same, but you're alternating double crochets and front post double crochets, working all the way around the hat. Double crochet, front post, double crochet, front post, all the way around, and then again we'll join to that first double crochet. So I've completed my row of double crochets and front post double crochets, alternating every other stitch. We're going to join to the top of that double crochet with a slip stitch, and now we're done. We can cut our yarn, tie off, and pull that to the other side of our hat. Now we do have some weaving in to take care of, and we'll do that in a few minutes. But this is the way, there's the back, here's the front of the hat should look. All right, let's make our snowman's nose. We're going to begin with a slip stitch, and we're going to chain 7. There's our 7 chains. We're going to slip stitch in the second chain from the hook. So put our hook in, pull up a loop, and then pull that loop through the loop that's on our hook. And then we're going to slip stitch in the next chain. And then we'll stitch 1 single crochet in the next 4 chains. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to turn our work, and we're going to work down the opposite side of our chain, and we're going to place a single crochet in the next 4 single crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to slip stitch in those last 2 slip stitches. So there's 1 and 2, and there's our nose. All right, we're going to tie off and leave ourselves a little bit of yarn so that we can sew that on to our snowman. All right, so what we're going to do first is I'm going to grab my needle. There we go. And we're just going to weave this in the back on this side. Go ahead and just get that out of our way. Now we need to decide where we want to put our nose. Now, I like to try to center it. Sometimes I'll push it up. Sometimes I'll even turn it backwards, depending on which way I want my snowman to be facing. I think today we'll just set it about right there. Where you place the carrot nose determines the personality of your snowman. So what I do, I think I'll have it go that way, is I'll go in, because this is the point of the nose. So I want to make sure it's nice and pointy. Just like that. And then I'll just stitch up. One thing to remember when you're adding the nose and the eyes on is that the hat is going to get stretched a little. So you don't want it so tight that it doesn't have any give. So you want to make sure it has just a little bit of give. But we also want it to stay put. So sew it on securely, but let it have just a little bit of give, I guess is the best way to say. There's my nose. I'm going to go inside my hat here, and I'm going to weave through some of those stitches, trying to hide it as much as I can. And we need to be careful not to let it show through the white on the front. All right, so now we have the carrot nose. The next thing we're going to do is the eyes. I've already sewn one of the eyes in place, and I've already made the other one. Black yarn is really hard for you to see, so I'm going to show you with the white yarn how to make the eye, and then I'm going to show you how to sew it on. So the eye is made by making a slip knot, and then we're going to chain 3. Then we're going to go in the second chain from the hook and stitch 6 single crochets. So there's 2, 3, whoops, that string out of the way, 5 and 6. We'll join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch, and then we'll cut our yarn, but you'll need to leave yourself a long tail of yarn for sewing it onto your snowman. We'll tie that off. And then before we sew it on, we're going to turn it over and close that little hole, as we don't want our snowman eye to have a little hole. It's supposed to look like a piece of coal. So what we'll do is we'll just stitch around those stitches that we just made. My needle's a little bit blunt there, so it's not going through. There we go. Go under those stitches. And then you just pull that tight and weave that in. I clip it off like that, and then I sort of pull it a little just so I can get the round shape that I want for the eye. All right, so I've already got a black one made here. And I place that eye on that side. I'm going to try to even them out a little bit. So you bring that one in a little. And you just go underneath, stitching through. There we go. And we're just going to go around that edge. And I go forward and then kind of come back. Trying also to remember that we want to make sure it has a little bit of give when we stretch the hat onto the child's head or your head. There we go. Move that so you can see. And I just keep going around until I run out of yarn, and that I'm confident that my eye is going to stay in place. Then I just go underneath. You can see here where I weave those in, and we just weave that in. All right, now our little snowman has eyes and a carrot nose, but he doesn't look real happy, or she. Now, if you want to make it look a little more cutesy, you can add a couple of stitches on each end for eyelashes. They're kind of cute, and a lot of the little girls like that. But this little guy here is a boy, so I'm not going to add those eyelashes. But I am going to add a smile so that I know that he's a happy snowman. And what I do is I come up here by the eye. I'm going to leave a piece at the bottom, and I'm going to make a slant. And then I'm going to come right up like that. That is the edge of the smile. And then what I do is I just go in and out like this. And that kind of tells me where I want my smile to go and how I want it to end. And I'm only making a side smile, all right? So then I'm going to go back and come the way that I came. And there's the little side smile. Now, if you want it to be thicker, you can go back over it, and I usually do. I'll just do again what I just did. Whoops, we don't want that to come out. There we go. And I'll just go right back over what I just did. There we go. And again, make sure you don't make it too tight, that it doesn't have any give, because we want the smile to be able to move a little bit as the child wears the hat. And the same thing with the adult hat. It needs to have just a little bit of stretch. There we go. And now we can just weave those ends in. So now our little snowman is all finished. Has his cute little smile, nose, and eyes. And if you want to add a pom-pom, I have a video that has several different ways to make a pom-pom. And I'll add that link right up there at the top, and you can click on that and see if any of those ways work for you. You can also use a pom-pom maker, or maybe put one of the faux pom-poms if you want to. And that's how you make a snowman hat in a large, in a medium, or a small size for just about any size head.